Hi everyone, welcome to Deep Thought. In this video, I'm going to talk about the eligibility criteria at Deep Thought, the selection process, and all of that. But before I get started, I'd like to tell a little bit about you. Let me know in case I'm telling this correctly. I think you're probably applying to different organizations, trying to think about what kind of a career is correct for you, right? I mean, this is a special phase in any professional's life where you're applying for your first job or your first internship. Because if you're going to be spending 1 year in an organization, you're going to be spending more than 10,000 hours. You're going to be spending more than 10,000 hours if you're going to be spending 1 year with an organization. And data shows that it takes about 10,000 hours of practice to really become an expert in something. So if you're working for the right organization, if you're in the right opportunity, so you get the right 10,000 hours of practice, and with the right 10,000 hours of practice, you become an expert within just 1 year. So which means 10 years of experience can also be gained in 1 year if you're actually getting the right 10,000 hours of practice, right? So if you're in an organization where you don't do the work that you're, happy about, that you're passionate about, then you're probably not going to get the right kind of experience. So is this something you're thinking about? Did I get this right? That you're looking for a right opportunity rather than any opportunity so that you'll be happy, so that you can gain the right experience, so that you can grow in your career. Well, just like how you are looking at the right opportunity for your career, as an organization, we look for the right kind of people because we believe that if we hire a person who will be happy doing what we have to offer, right? The kind of work that we have to offer. If we get a candidate who would be happy doing that, the candidate is likely to grow and the organization is likely to grow. So that is why we have this kind of a selection process. Now, before I go into the selection process, I'll tell you the 5 qualities which are very important at Deep Thought. At Deep Thought, we're very clear that we want to hire the best. We want to hire the best, and over time, we've been able to hire really amazing people who've done amazing things. What they are, I think, little towards the end of this video, you'll get to hear the stories of Balaji, Omkar, Sobik, and so on, who are leading teams at a very young age. I'll come to that, I think, a little later in this video. But I'll tell you the 5 qualities which become very important at Deep Thought. And I also have some data for you guys around these, 5 qualities. So the first quality that we look for in Deep Thought is adventurousness. Are you somebody who looks for adventure, to do something different, to take a risk? Or are you somebody who takes the safe path? At Deep Thought, we look for people who are adventurous because innovation is all about risk taking. And statistics show that among Gen Z, 50% of Gen Z are, risk takers. So if you think you're a risk taker, you're already in the top 50% there. And the second quality that we look for is people who are self-learners, people who don't need a lot of spoon feeding, people who can learn something on their own. This is the second quality we look for. As per a LinkedIn report, 73% of people think that they're self-learners. But if you look at online course completion statistics, only 27% of young adults actually complete online courses. So if you think you're a self-learner and if you're a person who's able to complete a learning once you start a learning, you're already in the top 27%. So you're 1 in 4 people, right? 3 out of 4 are already ruled out. You're that one person was ahead of 3 other people in your group. So that is, if you're a class of 60 people, you're in the top 15 already. If you're a class of 60 people, you're in the top 15 already if you're a self-learner. So the first quality we look for is risk-taking or adventurousness. And the second quality we look for is self-learning, that ability to, once you decide that you want to learn something, you'll sit in front of the internet, sit in front of YouTube, sit in front of whatever sources and try to learn something on your own. So self-learning is the second quality we look for. And the third quality we look for is sense of achievement, right? If you're somebody who likes to take challenges and you get a kick after completing the challenge. And as per research, about 60 to 65% of young adults and adolescents actually have a strong sense of achievement. That is, they want to take challenges and achieve challenges because, see, life puts all of us before challenges, right? But there are people with two mindsets: victim mindset and victor mindset. Somebody who has a victim mindset says, oh God, why does all of this happen only with me? But somebody with a victor mindset, right? Somebody with a victim mindset says, oh God, why does all of this happen with me? While somebody with a victor mindset is like, the movie Dark Knight, right? Anything that doesn't kill you only makes you better. So if you're a victor, you try to get better with all of those circumstances that are happening in life. So We look for people with more of victor mindset rather than victim mindset, and somebody with a victor mindset is likely to have that sense of achievement, right? Where the person doesn't want anything to come for free, right? I want this is not what somebody with a sense of achievement says. The person with a sense of achievement says, before I can desire, I will deserve it. I'll try to do something to deserve it, to earn it, rather than just ask it, right? So if you're somebody where your parents made you work very hard before you would get your bicycle or before you would get your laptop or something, you had to earn your things in life. I think you have that sense of achievement and we're looking for you. And as I said, 60 to 65% of people have this sense of achievement. And number four is growth mindset. So there are two mindsets, in Microsoft, this is a huge quality that they look for, growth mindset. So there's fixed mindset and growth mindset. Somebody with a fixed mindset will say, I don't know, I can't do, and so on. Somebody with a growth mindset is like, I don't know, but I'll figure it out, right? So somebody with a fixed mindset asks the question, can I do it? Somebody with a growth mindset asks, how do I do it, right? The person with a growth mindset is not deciding whether I can do or I can't do, but the person is actually figuring out. The beauty of picking up somebody with a growth mindset is they may not have the capability today, but the capability will get built over a period of time. So they're always growing, right? Growth mindset. So this is a theory developed by Carol Dweck, very well established. Most organizations are using growth mindset as one of their characteristic or attributes while screening people. So research shows that about 40% of students and professionals show a strong growth mindset. Out of 100 people, 40 people have strong growth mindset. Another 30 are in the process of getting, growth mindset. So, and the last quality and probably the most important quality we look for is ability to take feedback. About 42% of millennials and Gen Z actually have that ability to take feedback, and 70% of them take feedback only when it is framed positively and linked to growth. But 42% of those individuals who are very good at taking feedback, even if it is not framed well. So if you're somebody who is very, very good at taking feedback from people, see, taking feedback doesn't mean accepting everyone, right? Taking feedback is listen to it, analyze it, and then think, okay, is it correct for me or is it not correct for me? So there are two kinds of people, right? One kind of people, the moment you give feedback, they're like, I'm already doing it. So that's a defensive, reflexive reaction rather than actually trying to first listen, process, analyze, is this correct for me? And then, go about it, right? So if you are that individual who will first absorb it, process it, then decide, should I do, should I not do? Then you're very good at taking feedback and you're in the top 42%. So again, only 50% are very good at, risk taking. Only 27% are actual self learners based on the data of course completion. And around 60-65% have that sense of achievement. 40% have growth mindset, and only 42%, have that ability to take feedback. So if you take all this data into mind, only 1 to 5%, that is, if your classroom has 100 people, if your classroom has 100 people, less than 5 people would have all these 5 qualities put together, right? So if you are an individual with all these 5 qualities and you don't have the skills, I don't know about other companies. Other companies might be going with a skill-based approach, but DT is more than happy to pick you up. If you really have these 5 qualities, DT is happy to pick you up because at DT, we believe in scouting. I mean, recently you must have seen the IPL auction. So all the teams are talking about scouting, right? So there are some players who are not well known, right? The world doesn't know them, but these teams go and catch them very early. For example, Nitish Kumar Reddy, Sunrisers Hyderabad picked him up very early, and today he's one of the biggest stars in the Indian cricket team in Australia, right? So, or even Heinrich Klaassen, he was picked up at 5 crore by Sunrisers earlier, and this year he was retained at 23 crores. That's what scouting is about, right? You predict talent even before the whole world understands that talent. So for me, skills get acquired over a period of time, and often skills are a little tough for a beginner because until you actually start working, you don't see, when you're just learning things academically, you may not see the value of it, right? It may not be fun to just do a learning project or personal project, may not be that fun. But if you're working in a company, I think you get a more realistic sense and you get that feedback, and that bug of feedback can help you get better, right? So that's why I think we look for candidates with these 5 qualities. Now, what if you don't have these 5 qualities? That's okay. I think if you go through the deep thought selection process, all the rounds, you'll actually understand how you can actually improve yourself around these, 5 qualities. And one thing we have as a policy is because our selection process is long, our selection process is rigorous. So any candidate who completes all the 4 rounds of the selection process, we usually give very good feedback so that the candidate can improve. But it's very important to take the feedback. I'll give you a simple example. Yesterday, there was one candidate who had applied to us as a software developer, right? And he completed all the 4 rounds. So last week his review happened and the team had rejected him. He reached out to me, ki, what is the decision? I told him that, hey, I'm not feeling well. My health was upset actually last week. So I said, I'll connect with you next week and convey the feedback. So yesterday I actually updated, there's a website where we update all the results of everybody who's completed 3 rounds. So there he went and saw the thing that his status was changed to rejected. So he said, sir, if it is rejected, there's no need of communication. That's okay. So this clearly tells that he's not in that 42%, right? He's not having that ability to take feedback. He's feeling bad that the company has rejected him. See, actually, that is a very important quality for growth, right? That ability to take feedback, because something may work out for you, something may not work out for you. That does not mean that you're good or you're bad. That only means, okay, there are gaps, maybe we can improve ourselves. So, but unfortunately, because of the Indian education system where we become very competitive, Indian parents themselves sometimes are not aware of what these personality traits are, right? Like good sports people usually know it. Good sports people learn it over time, but people are not into sports or people are not into life skills usually don't get this piece that well. But if you are that individual who can actually take feedback, right? So even if you're rejected, you're like, that's okay, I respect your decision, but can you tell me what is the feedback you have for me? That actually helps in growing. In fact, a lot of feedback may not be useful, but until you listen to the feedback, how would you know if it is useful or not useful, right? So which is why a good quality is to take as much feedback as you can and then later process. And if you think about it, maybe I had a small thinking after talking to him, maybe I'll give him a second chance. But the moment he said that if you've already decided to reject me, there's no point of having a conversation. That means that I'm not even going to give him a second chance. And let's say tomorrow, he wants to reapply to the organization and we remember that this is the candidate. We may have second thoughts about the candidate because we like, this fellow may have the skills, but is he having the right personality? Right? So it's very, very important for us to stay positive, to take feedback as much as we can, not get disappointed by rejection. Staying positive, I think, is a very key attribute for growth. So again, I repeat, even if you don't have the 5 attributes today, you go through the selection process, we're more than happy to offer you feedback. And when I say offer you feedback, if you ask us questions, we might even be willing to recommend some books you might read, or we might be willing to recommend some activities that you could do without spending any money voluntarily by yourself online, something that you could do and maybe reapply to us after 1 or 2 months, because we look for this top 5% or top 1% talent, right? So if you're an individual who's willing to put that effort to get into this sort of attributes, we're more than happy to support you to get to that stage and then hire you. So now, without any further delay, I want to tell you what is the selection process. So round one of the selection process, we'll give you some 10 questions or something in a Google form. So these are real world situations. So we want to see how you think about these situations. So more than us judging whether you're giving a right answer, there's no right answer or wrong answer to this. But if you actually do it heartfully, by the time you complete the selection process, we'll see a change in your thought process. So it's like, let me put it this way, the deep thought selection process is actually not a selection process. It's like a crash course where I'm giving you 4 challenges. You complete all the 4 challenges and then I interview you after the 4 challenges. Now, why don't we want to interview anybody straight away? We don't, at Deep Thought, we don't believe in interviewing people straight away because a fresher may not have much to tell in an interview. But after putting these 4 challenges, then we ask, what did you learn from the challenge? Now, the candidates who have a lot of stories, the candidates who have learned a lot of things at the end of the 4 challenges, those are the candidates we like to, hire, because we know in these 4 rounds, without teaching anything, by themselves only, if they could learn this much, we know that if we hire them and if we start working with them, they'll keep learning over a period of time. They'll keep learning while they work with us and they'll keep growing with us. This is the thought process that we sort of have as an organization. So round one, we just give simple questions, situations, and we want you to tell us how you would approach that situation. And some of the words might be new. If the words are new, we expect that you take any of the online resources to understand what that means. and then frame your thoughts. And we do not like chat GPT or generative AI answers. While, if we hire you, we would want you to use generative AI. We'll train you with prompts. We'll train you on how to use AI to be more productive, to be 4 times, 5 times more productive. But in the selection process, we don't want you to use AI to write your answers. For research, it's okay. For getting information, AI is okay. But for writing answers, no, because we want to see how you think, right? We want to hear your own words, right? That's round one, where we put you in situations and we want to know your thought process. Round two. So why round one? Round one is because we want to see if you want to be great, you want to be average, or you want to be great. So that's what round one is about. So if you apply to a product manager role, you'll have product management oriented questions. If you apply product manager or software developer or any of the SaaS oriented roles, you'll get those questions. If you applied for a HR or organizational psychology or psychology role, you'll have more of mindset oriented questions. If you applied for a data champion role, you'll have data driven decision making oriented situations. So we want to know how you think about real world situation. So that's what round one is about. Whether you're great or you're average is what we get to know in round one. And in round two, if you've decided to be great in round one, fantastic. So in now round two, we give you a real world problem. And there's a Google sheet we give you. And in that Google sheet, there are a lot of sub sheets. So you'll have to take the patience to find that sub sheets and answer. Like recently, somebody went online and mentioned that the selection process was not carefully defined. I can confidently tell you that the person didn't go through all the sub sheets, because in our selection process, we have multiple subsheets where we introduce new concepts. We give a lot of educational material also, because we know that most of the youngsters who apply to us may not have exposure to these real world problems. So we put subsheets where the theory is presented to you. Even if the words are new to you, if the vocabulary is new to you, you use online tools and you can try to understand what that words mean, and you get some new knowledge. You get that exposure, and after that exposure, you can solve the problem. So in a nutshell, the round two process is more like, in school English exams, you have that reading comprehension exam, right? Where you have to read a passage, understand some new information based on the passage, and then answer questions. So you'd be able to answer those questions well only if you had read the passage and understood that passage well, right? So that's what it is. Round two is real world problem solving. But for real world problem solving, obviously, you need some knowledge, you need some exposure. The knowledge and the exposure that you need for this real world problem solving is actually imparted in the Google sheet itself. If you actually go through the sheet in detail, you'll have all the knowledge that you need for it in the sheet. But again, it's very important for you to be able to read and understand this. Now, round three of the selection process is reflection. Reflection is a process of continuous improvement. So Henrik Klaasen, whom I spoke about a while back, is one of the most improved cricketers in the 21st century, one of the best white ball cricketers right now. So if you ask him what is his secret, it's not talent, it's not some secret genes, but his secret is this reflection, process of continuous improvement. So we introduce you in a Google sheet, we explain how to do reflection. So you can actually do a reflection and figure out that task that you did in round two, how you will improve it. So again, round one, we want to see whether you want to be great or you want to be average. Round two, if you've actually decided to be great, we want you to take a real world problem and solve it, right? Take a real world problem and solve it. Round three, we want you to figure out how you will improve the solution of round two by using the process of reflection. And if you complete all the three rounds, then we invite you to something called a virtual tour of deep thought. We invite you to spend 3 days with us. So you'll get to understand who we are, how we think, how we operate, how the youngsters in this environment operate, and so on. And every day you can write a daily journal of your learnings. So if you're demonstrating that learning and you're demonstrating that improvement as a youngster in our environment, we are happy to hire you. So this is a very unique opportunity we have, the virtual tour, because a lot of times youngsters, clear an interview, go into a job, but they go with an assumption ki, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But there's no clarity as to what I'll really do if I'm hired for the job. So the virtual tour sets that clear expectations of what you're going to do if at all you're going to be a part of us. So that I think is nice, because you'd know if this is what you'd enjoy, right? Is DT the right place for you? Just like how we want to know if you're right for DT, you'll also know if DT is right for you through the virtual tour. So that's, I think, a fantastic process we've been using over the years. Now, coming to the next part, why all of this rigor? As I told you, I'm going to tell you some stories of people. Ranganath, one of our interns, after finishing his internship with Deep Thought, his first job was as chief of staff in a pharma company. He was the right hand to the CEO implementing a lot of reforms. He was doing commercial development, he was doing sales, he was doing operations, he was doing quality assurance, he was doing procurement, he was doing data analysis, he was doing various things. So he grew to a position which typically requires about 10 to 15 years of work experience. Chief of staff requires about 10 to 15 years of work experience. He could do that role right after his first internship. That's Ranganath for you. And then Omkar Nikam, after finishing his first internship with Deep Thought, then we put him in one of our client projects of Unique Biotech and is building systems to aid the growth of a company which is growing at around 20% CAGR. India's largest probiotic manufacturer, which is working in 50 countries right now, selling probiotics in 50 countries. For that, Unique Biotech, Omkar Nikam is building systems for growth. And the third story that mentioned is of Saubik. Saubik started his internship with us while he was still in third year. By the time he came to his fourth year now, he's actually the team lead, the tech lead. So even before he finished his college, he's already a tech lead, leading a team of, I think, around 6 developers right now. So the Vishkarma is online aggregator of construction materials. So there is this web application of Vishkarma, which is fantastic. So if you're building a new house and you want to buy a lot of materials for your house, you get best of data all over India in terms of which brand, which item, at what price, what quality, what is available. It is, an application driven by strong data engineering, proudly built by Deep Thought, the data engineering team of Vishkarma. So this entire team is led by, Saubik, of course, with the mentoring of a highly experienced CTO, Mr. Hariharan Anand, who has 33 years of experience. But Saubik is a tech lead already, building the entire technology and handling the entire technology of an application which is used by thousands of users every day. So can youngsters get onto this leadership roles and take responsibility of organizations? Absolutely, they can. But these youngsters are not the normal ones. So out of 10,000 youngsters, you'll hardly get 100 people of this kind. The 99% of youngsters may not be meant for this. So who are the youngsters who can actually take on these leadership roles and do well? These are the youngsters who have these 5 attributes that I spoke about. And we are also sharing a lot of LinkedIn articles and videos, Instagram video links. If you go through them, you'll get to hear what people of Deep Thought have to say about the Deep Thought rigor. Deep Thought is not easy. Deep Thought is not meant for everyone. Deep Thought is only meant for people with ambition, who are willing to put that extra effort to growing, and people are looking for all-round growth. Not growth only in one way, but all-round growth, right? Getting exposure to multiple things and understanding how the world works. So that's what Deep Thought is about. And all these articles and videos will give you a good sense of Deep Thought. So at this stage, if you're excited, you want to start the selection process, it's pretty straightforward. We would have given you one link to start the selection process. Polke would have given you one link. In that link, there'll be one Google form. There'll be one Google form with 10 questions. Fill that entire Google form. Once you fill that entire Google form, you'll get a WhatsApp group link. So you can join the WhatsApp group. So that WhatsApp group is of round 2. So once you fill the entire Google form, right? So you go to the web page, you fill that Google form. Once you fill that Google form, you'll get that WhatsApp group link. You join the WhatsApp group. Once you join the WhatsApp group, you're required to send a self-defined timeline. Self-defined timeline means that assignment, right? That real world problem, which is in round 2. We want you to tell us by when you can complete the assignment. So for round 2, we give 48 hours. So you will set your own goal. Already when you fill the round 1 form only, they'll show you one template of how to send that self-defined timeline. You can send a self-defined timeline message in the group. The ones who don't send a self-defined timeline, we immediately remove them from the group. Why? Because already in the round 1 Google form, while submitting the form, we mention that you are going to send a self-defined timeline. Are you sure you will send it? So you're supposed to mark yes. If you mark no, the no option says, no, I will not send it, disqualify me. So we have already put in the form itself, but some people, what they do is they don't read the form, they blindly tick it. And that is not good. If you want to grow as a leader, you have to be very careful. You have to read everything when you fill something, right? So this is why self-defined timeline is one very nice way in which we eliminate people, because all the people who don't have patience, people who don't read carefully, they get eliminated due to the self-defined timeline only. And so, yeah, go to the web page, fill that entire form, click that WhatsApp group. And some people actually click that link. When you click that link, it will not work because it's a React application. You'll have to copy that link and paste it in your browser. That also we show it on the screen. Don't click, copy and paste it. So once you paste it in your browser, you can join that group link. Then you send your self-defined timeline, and within 48 hours, as per the self-defined timeline, you can submit the assignment. Once you submit this assignment, you'll get the link to the WhatsApp group of the third round. So once you get the link of the third round, there again in the group description, you'll have to send a self-defined timeline, 24 hours to do the reflection. For round 2, 48 hours. For round 3, 24 hours. So once you complete the reflection, you'll get the link to observation lobby. Observation lobby is the pass for you to come to the virtual tour. So there we give you a little information about deep thought and we ask you at the end of the virtual tour, what do you want to explore? So please tell us 10 questions that you want to explore. So the reason we say this is if you're coming to visit us in our office for 3 days, you'd want to know who we are, what we do a little bit so that you can make more out of the tour. No, it's like if you're going to Pune or Goa or somewhere, you'll understand a little bit about the place so that you can explore the place better. No, so that will give you a exploration map so you can know what details about what all we're doing. And we want you to tell us 10 questions that you want to explore through the virtual tour. So after you tell us the 10 questions, we give you an invitation to our Zoom link so that you can come meet us. And then in the observation, we give you journals and so on. And at any point, once you finish the round 1 form and once you join a WhatsApp group, if you're stuck, you can always reach out to the WhatsApp group admin. If you reach out to the WhatsApp group admin, you'll get some help in case you're stuck somewhere. But I hope I've done a good job in explaining the selection process. Our selection process is intentionally confusing because we want to identify the top 1%, the people who have the capabilities to be leaders. Because if you're an organization, right, life is confusing. Life may there are a lot of challenging things, but the idea is to have that growth mindset where you figure it out, right? It's like even if it's challenging, that's okay. I want to figure out how to go about it. That's the attitude I think we look for at the end of the selection process. And one last thing I want to say before you drop off is even if you don't have the 5 attributes, it's okay. If you patiently complete the entire selection process and put your honest and best efforts, if you put your honest and best efforts in completing the selection process, we'll at least give you feedback so that you can develop yourself and maybe after 1 month apply after developing these attributes in yourself. So Deep Thought is a company which is committed to building India for nation building to create more leaders for young India. So even if we don't hire someone, but if someone is actually able to learn by participating in a selection process and become a good leader for India, we'll be delighted. Because the reason we have around 190 investors for about 10 countries is because we promise that as a company we'll create more leaders and develop India. So profit is definitely something we go for being a for-profit company, but our main thing is mission. We as a company exist because we want to develop this country by creating a lot of young leaders. So on this note, I hope you'll figure your way out. It will be a little confusing, but figure your way out, complete the selection process because it's going to be worth it, right? Thanks a lot for patiently listening to me. Have a great day. Thank you.